What's up, y'all? Hey, it's Jordan, aka Mixed by J.E. If you don't know me, I am a mixing engineer up here at Speak Live Studio here in Spartanburg, South Carolina. I've been mixing for right at about 10 years. I've been mixing full-time professionally for 4 years now. Over the years, I've had a bunch of people ask for some YouTube content on some tips, tricks, hacks on recording, mixing, mastering. We're gonna go ahead and start this series right now with a super simple, super basic, but very, very useful video on 5 Pro Tools hacks whenever you're recording hip hop. Let's go ahead and jump into it. So as you can see, what I've got pulled up right here is the Mixed by J.E. recording template 2019. You know it's fresh. It's actually gonna be free. I'm gonna link it down below for a free download for you guys, just so you can go ahead and have a template to go ahead and get your feet wet in Pro Tools. I mean, it's nothing crazy. I know some people may not have the Wave plugins, the UAD plugins, a Fab filter, all that stuff. So what I've done is I've pieced together a really basic template just with some EQ, basic EQ to boost the high ends, clean out some of the nastiness down here, basic compression, little de-esser, a reverb, and the delay if you want to get a little saucy. Down here, this is a plugin, the autotune. That's something that does not come stock with Pro Tools, but I will explain the reason why I have this pulled up later in the video. So as you can see here, everything's routed to the vocal bus here. So anything that you're going to be recording, it's going to be going straight through this bus, and these EQs, compression, de-esser, reverb, it's going to be on all your vocals. Pretty basic template here. Kind of your hooks. I like keeping my hooks purple. This is all just preference. Your verse lead 2, verse ins and outs, verse ad-libs, and if you have a second artist, that's what these down here for. So one of the main reasons why I have a template is because if you're recording hip-hop, a lot of times you're going to be pulling up beats and switching sessions pretty quick. There's been certain sessions where I pulled up a beat, the artist isn't really feeling the beat, so we jump right into another session pretty quick. So what this template is going to allow you to do, this is actually going to be point number 1. Start with a template. That way you don't have your artist in the booth for 15 minutes as you're slowly just adding your 10 tracks. You don't have to do that every session. So whenever you save this template, every time you start a new session, you can save the template in this folder. You can click it, and all this will be already set up for you. That way you can go ahead and start focusing on recording rather than setting up the plugins, all that stuff. So point number 2, this is actually something that I didn't figure out for a while, which is really sad to say this. But what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna pull up a random beat here. It looks like this is a beat from YouTube. A basic 2-track MP3. I normally bring this all the way up to the top. This is another preference thing for me. As you can tell, a lot of times if you're pulling it off of YouTube, or even if you're buying a beat, a lot of times the producer already has a limiter, a little bit of compression on the beat already. So a lot of times it's gonna make the beat pretty loud, which is good whenever you're playing it back, just kind of vibing to the beat, but is not good whenever you're trying to lay vocals to it. What I normally do, you can do it this way. You can turn down the volume that way. You can normalize it. But typically what I do is I'll just pull up the trim tool, bring this bad boy down to -10. Oh, -10. So this is what it sounds like without the trim. It's what it sounds like with it. What you can tell here, I mean, it's a super simple adjustment. The reason why you want to turn down that beat is you definitely don't want distorting vocals. You can't really clean that up if your vocals are distorted. So turn it down, super key. It's going to really help you get clean recorded vocals. Point number 3, let's go ahead and dive into it. One of the things, if you're dealing with a 2-track, like an MP3, one of the things a lot of people don't know is actually the MP3, what I'm doing here is I'm just zooming in. A lot of times the MP3, there's going to be a small dead space. See this little gap here? You want to take that out. You want to pull the beat back to the start after you do that. And what that's going to do is that's actually going to lead us right into our next point. So the reason why you want to do that, if you're working with hip hop, R&B, and pop, you're probably going to be wanting to do some beat drops. You may be adjusting the beat, like kind of taking this part of the beat, dragging it down here. For you to properly do that, you have to trim the beat, just like I talked about in point number 3. So point number 4, you got to grab the tempo of this beat. Me personally, I mean, you can tap the tempo out up here if you want to. Me personally, I like to run pretty quick. So what I've done is I've went ahead and purchased Mixed in Key, which is actually a DJ software, I believe. But what's cool about this, what I did is I just dragged the beat into this program. It's a standalone program. It's not related with Pro Tools. It's actually outside of Pro Tools. But what you can do is you can drag that beat into Mixed in Key, and it's going to tell you the exact tempo and the key. So as we can see here, this beat that we have pulled up, I've already got it pulled up in a mixed in key. So as you can see, this is going to be at 135. This tempo is going to be 135. So what we're going to do here, we're going to click this little composer, man. Take that off and tap 135. Boom. And you may be in one of these modes. I typically like working in grid. The reason why I like that is because, as you can see, everything is snapped to grid. So right here, obviously your kick, probably your snare there, it's all snapped right to the grid. If you don't do step number 3, which is trim the beat, it's gonna still be off, even though if you did have the right tempo, it's still gonna be off because of that small dead space. So if you tackle number 3 and you get on to number 4, you put the tempo in here, what's gonna be cool is whenever you add the beat drops, I don't even know what's playing right here. I know it's snapped to grid, so I know this is gonna be a cool beat drop. So check this out. It's gonna be perfect every time. Or, I know a lot of people know about this. Or if you want to get fancy, add the verify to it. And it just makes it really efficient, really easy. Another thing too, if the artist that you're working with doesn't like the structure of the beat, if I need to like drag things around, just kind of adjust the beat to where, let's just say we needed to extend the intro a couple bars. Well, with us having it tapped to grid, it's going to be super easy to do. You literally just do this, and it's seamless. Another reason why you want to tap out the tempo is for delays. So as you can see, we got a delay pulled up here. What this is going to do is your tempo for the delay is actually going to be synced to the project tempo. So if you've ever tried to record and throw like a delay or an echo on your vocals and notice that it did not come in at the right time, it's probably because you didn't have the tempo tapped out. Whenever you tap out this tempo, your delays are going to have perfect timing. You know, if you want longer delays, you just kind of adjust that. But whatever you choose, it's going to be right on time every time whenever you got your tempo tapped out. After you got the tempo set, it's going to lead us right into point number 5, which is setting the key of your auto-tune. I know some people think you can just kind of slap auto-tune on there and it's going to do what you need it to do. That is not the case. So every beat is obviously going to be in a different key. So what I'm going to do here is I'm actually going to pull up mixed in key again. I use this in every session. I believe it's about $100. I personally can't listen to a beat and tell you the key. You may be better than I am, but I don't know the key. So what I do is I normally pull up mixed in key, figure this out. So as you can see here, the key is going to be 9A. I'm going to go over here to this wheel, hover my mouse over it, and it's telling me that that key is going to be E minor. So what I'm going to do here, set my auto-tune to E minor, and depending on how strong you want that auto-tune, you know, if it's definitely like, you know, some Young Thug type stuff, Uzi Vert type stuff, you may want to pull it down to anywhere from about maybe 15 to about 5. I normally don't go all the way to 0. That's pretty extreme. Some people like that though, so whatever you want to do. Once you have that set up, you know, if you want your auto-tune on all your channels, you're just going to want to copy this to all of your channels. But outside of that, hey, I think you're ready to start recording. You got some basic EQ, compression, de-esser, you got your template set up, you've got your beat, you've got that thing turned down a little bit to give you a little bit of headroom whenever you're recording your vocals to make sure you're getting a clean, pristine vocal. You've trimmed the top end of this MP3 beat to help you make sure that your beat's gonna be snapped to the grid whenever you get your tempo, which is 135 in this case. So if you wanna add any beat drops when your artist is recording, super easy. It's gonna lead us right into point number 5. You got your auto-tune ready. All right, guys. Hey, I appreciate you watching. Make sure to subscribe if this added any value. Leave any suggestions for maybe next videos. I would love to tackle any kind of questions you guys may have. But until next time, I'm out of here.